I never really understood discrimination. I mean, conceptually, yes, I've always understood discrimination, however, I've never really understood the whys. Maybe it's because of the people I've met since I was born. Perhaps it was mainly because of my best friend who was lesbian and recently transitioned to a man. I may not be friends with that person anymore, but the ideals that they have carried within me are still there. I mean, it was certainly not my parents. I mean, I saw my father throw a piece of chicken McNugget at his TV screen because two gay guys kissed in it too. Of course, the most masculine thing a man can do. Throw a piece of chicken McNugget at his TV screen. But I've always seen humanity as a united front, species-wise. I mean, the notion of different races and them being higher or lower than one another never really made sense to me. My family, of course, always wanted me to believe that kind of stuff. That I, a straight white male, am always above a certain other type of person. Perhaps a gay person, a trans person, or black person. The color of my skin completely deciding whether or not I should be at the low point of society or at the high point of it. I don't get it. I won't ever. But I think it's time to introduce the internet to the equation. Ever since I was very young, the internet has influenced my life a lot. Maybe to an extent that I even got the idea of being friends with a person that isn't straight. I was watching a lot of YouTubers when I was younger, and thankfully a lot of them are still just very nice people, very tolerant people, and people I am not ashamed to have watched in the past. Some of them more than others, but we're not getting into the specifics of that. Fucking Wilbur. But I think the internet has significantly changed. The internet started out as a lot of individuals being very individualist, if you want to say it like that. But it was small back then, not small enough for the people back then to not have a pretty large following, but small enough so only a few select people even had the capacity to make a video and go upload it on YouTube. I mean, it was all gate-kept by editing softwares and good equipment, and there was never really an incentive to buy all that stuff, because frankly you weren't making any money back then. But that all changed. In the 2010s era, I believe we experienced what can be called the corporatization of the internet, where sites like YouTube were less about the individual and more about the corporation that is behind it all. YouTubers were taking deals with publishing agencies, and it was all being very corporate. But then, I think everything changed with TikTok. After it was rebranded from Musical.ly to TikTok, I think it blew up because of the ease of access of literally everything. The creator tools on TikTok are, frankly, still the best in the game, and I frequently post TikToks because of the easiness of it all. I don't have to sit down at my PC, throw together a video, work hundreds of hours on a single goddamn thing. No, I can just go ahead and record myself for 1 minute, cut out the silences, and boom! I can become internet famous. And I mean, why wouldn't you at least try? You can make a good living as an internet creator, especially if you then migrate to YouTube, who actually pays you for all the views you get. Naturally, TikTok became the most growing site on the entire internet, so everyone had to come after them. YouTube introduced the YouTube Shorts, Instagram introduced Reels, and everyone became kind of samey and was focusing on that short form content, because that's where the views were. And mostly because of YouTube Shorts, I think there has been a disparity between platforms. Instagram Reels are a cesspool, but ignoring those, TikTok and YouTube Shorts have distinctly different audiences. While on TikTok, a lot of new people are coming in, more and more people are being driven to TikTok because of the virality of it all. On YouTube Shorts, we have less of that because of the amount of people that were just there already. They have been using YouTube for a while. They have been growing up with the people on this platform and are now just experiencing a new way of watching these people. But some TikTok creators still saw gold when looking at YouTube, and especially when looking at YouTube Shorts, so they migrated all of their content over to YouTube Shorts, uploading them on TikTok first and editing them on TikTok, and then going ahead and uploading them on YouTube Shorts afterwards. And I mean, it only makes sense. Why just make content for one platform when you can satisfy two audiences at the same time? In concept, it's a perfectly good solution to everything. In practice, it was a fine solution. Ray William Johnson is one of the greatest examples of that all working out. Ray William Johnson posted both on YouTube and on TikTok the same content, and it's pretty good content. But then there are some examples of TikTok humor not traversing well over to YouTube. We don't have to get into those quite yet. Mostly because the person we are currently focusing on is actually a YouTube original, Master Oogway. I would say Master Oogway has seen way more success on YouTube than he has seen on TikTok. First and foremost, he is a YouTuber. He always says it himself, actually. But also he is mostly a YouTube Shorts creator. He started out his career by doing Master Oogway impressions. I know, it's crazy. It's almost like it's in the name. And frankly, they are pretty good. You know, credit where credit is due. This man has a good voice. And credit where credit is due again. The jokes are pretty funny.
You shall pass on to Paul.
You know, when he doesn't steal them. Well, actually, they're pretty much only funny when he steals them. But other than that, you love it to see it. But of course, he is a gimmick account at that point. If you only have a singular idea and write it out until it dies, you're never going to recover. So he didn't write that. He wrote it out as long as the iron was hot, and then he changed it all. He became a comedian. Comedian in the broadest terms possible. He became a TikTok comedian. Basically, he would say something completely outlandish and then put a thirst trap right after it. And presumably after that jerk off to himself. But there's no evidence for that, so take it with a grain of cum. But then his dark humor jokes fell flat. They're not intense enough for the audience anymore. And because of that lack of intensity, he has to get the intensity up. Suddenly, he starts getting views again, people are interested again, but it flatlines once more. The intensity has to keep increasing and increasing and increasing, and suddenly, you say the N-word. Yep, you're just flat out racist. You actually say the N-word so much that people are not even surprised anymore. I swear to God, the amount of videos just titled saying the N-word, and then he just says the N-word, aren't funny. It's an upsetting amount of videos. And you may be able to tell by the color of his skin, this guy ain't black. And yes, you would be correct. He is actually Dutch-Turkish. And let me tell you something, brother. The Turks aren't black. So naturally, people in the comments go ahead and say, he is too majestic to be cancelled. This guy don't cancelled. The cancel fears him. Basically, me the writer. But cannot, I hear you scream. He's just making dark jokes. Dark humor is subjective, and this guy is using dark humor to entertain his audience. I'm stealing this argument from him, by the way.
Am I racist myself? I don't dislike any race. I don't hate any race. I love all of them. Just because I'm making messed up jokes doesn't mean I'm racist myself.
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. Dark humor is very much subjective, and it can technically be classified under dark humor, but in my mind, dark humor has always been, oh, this is a fucked up situation. I don't want to, like, confront it head on, so instead of confronting it head on, I'm gonna make a joke about it. To, you know, lighten the mood, get a little bit of that reality out of that very real thing. Because frankly, that's how dark humor works. Make a 9/11 joke, it takes the reality out of the reality. That's just how it works. But saying a slur isn't a joke. It's about as thought-provoking as the punchline being porn. But it doesn't have to be thought-provoking, it just has to be funny. And frankly, if you think this is funny, sure. Laugh. However, he has recently been banned on TikTok. If you have been wondering why this has happened, well, let me tell you. Of course, as every shitty YouTuber has to do, he has to make a music career. And in his music career, he makes this song. I will be standing over here so you can look at the title in all its glory. I will not be reading the title because fuck no. I'm pretty sure it's illegal for me to say it, because I'm German. No, of course, he says the N-word multiple times during that music. I am putting music in quotations. Here are some of the very thoughtful lines he provides within that song. See, I would be playing those lines, however, fuck no, and also it's copyrighted. And now, we will be talking about that line. If you already know about the drama, you know exactly what line I'm referring to. As you may be able to tell, this is fucked up. If you don't know the history of Anne Frank, let me just say it right now. Anne Frank was a child persecuted by the Nazis. She fled the nation and came hiding into the Netherlands. During her stay in the Netherlands, the Nazis invaded the Netherlands. She was then brutally murdered by the Nazi regime. She's a very prominent figure because she was writing during the entirety of it. Her experience is put down entirely on paper. You can even read it today. Her story is one of the most frightening and frankly disgusting things that came out of the Second World War. And Master Oogway, I repeat, the Dutch person, is talking about how she yearns for that. Go fuck yourself. Oh, Kanmod, you shouldn't be getting mad. He wants you to get mad. That's his entire spiel. I am very fucking aware of that fact, and I don't give a damn. Because goddamn, to the point where you have to go to be a fucking pedophilic bastard in your song. Frankly, it disturbs me. This motherfucker writes a line that somehow includes pedophilia, necrophilia, and pro-Nazi sentiments. How do you even write that line? This motherfucker combined like 3 of the worst things on the planet Earth into a single sentence. A single one. So after Master Oogway outed himself as a necrophile, a pedophile, and a Nazi enthusiast in that one single fucking line, he was banned off of TikTok. But before he was banned off of TikTok, people were complaining on TikTok about that song because, frankly, they also have common sense. He then said in a now deleted, because, you know, his entire account is deleted, but now deleted post on TikTok that he shouldn't have said those things. Oh, so he's backpedaling. Okay, that's pretty good. He was making the entire thing just so that he would, you know, say these horrible things, but he has realized that he shouldn't have said those horrible things. We are good. We are good. We are good. Oh, he's backpedaling on Twitter. He is backpedaling from the backpedal. So we are going back forward, bitch, and we are not stopping. On Twitter, he then admitted that he does not regret anything, and he made the song for fucking... I don't even get the logic here. Then a lot of people made videos against him, because fucking obviously. And then he had a meltdown on Twitter. Look what he did on Twitter. He basically did a bunch of schizo posts. It doesn't fucking matter. But then he did one post. One post that is horrible. Absolutely fucking disgusting on every single possible way. Look at this fucking tweet. I want you to read it, right? I want you to read it again. A second time. And now I'm gonna say why every single bit of that sentence is horrible. Alright? So, let's start at the top. He compares his situation to the situation in Palestine. Alright. Big fucking whoops. That's right shit. I may have to scream again. My brother. My funny guy. My brother in goddamn Allah. What the fuck are you doing? You are setting your situation up to be compared, to even be put close to the deaths of thousands of people on a daily basis because they are dying in an armed conflict, and you are putting your name, your fucking stupid ass drama about some cock-guzzling fucker next to that. I am sorry, but I think the deaths of thousands of people are just a little further away from you. I mean, yeah, you're saying nothing compares to it. Well, you're fucking correct. So don't compare yourself then. And I wonder why you haven't made any jokes about that, huh? Maybe it's because one of your friends actually lost their parents in that conflict, and if you were to make fun of that, it would hit a little too close to home. And if it hit a little too close to home, perhaps you would actually have consequences for the shit you're saying. Imagine being the target of your own jokes, huh? How about you make jokes at your own expense? Because you haven't been doing that. You've been making jokes at other people's expense because fuck them, I guess. You're the alpha male, right? But you haven't been making jokes when actual people that are in your vicinity are affected by it. Because if that were to happen, alright, it would have consequences. You big fucking baby. And consequences are a thing you don't really like. That's why you went absolutely schizo mode on Twitter after you got banned. Because an actual consequence is too much for your stupid ass. But let's be a little more tactful about it, shall we? Master Oogway. Frankly, I think you are a horrible person. One which actively wastes CO2 in our atmosphere. Every breath you take is just a little more hope that I lose in humanity. However, put yourself in the shoes of the people who you talk about. I know you may not believe in this very sentiment, but think of them as nothing but human. Then think of yourself as human. The only way you're different is the way life has treated you. So put yourself in their shoes. Let's say you were affected by any of the things you joke about. You would fucking hate to be in that position. You do. You already do. People are calling you out every single day. Every single day I see another one post about you, about how shit of a person you are. Every day, another person gets in my recommended and says how shit you are as a person. And I know you despise it. Because the things you do, like your meltdown on Twitter, like your meltdown on YouTube over the monetization, those are the things that have affected you as a person. Now imagine those things that hurt you, those things that made you angry. Imagine those on literally everyone fucking else. And then you have your type of humor. Now, I want you to take some advice. Because frankly, this is the only advice I can give. I can certainly not give you any advice about facial hair. Mine sucks ass. Can't give you advice about working out. I'm fat as fuck. I can give you advice about what to do though. I want you to take a step back. I want you to think. Log off Twitter. Log off YouTube. Log off everything. Take a step back. Take a breather. And think. Why is everyone angry? Why is everything against me? Why do people hate me? Then figure it out. Go ahead and change. Because you may not ever have a career here. Because the internet doesn't forget, right? The internet will never forget about the things you've done, about the things you've said, about the horrible things you've implied. We will always be here judging you for what you have done in your past. But the people around you, the friends of the future, they don't have to know what you have done, right? This entire drama is just a very small and contained side of YouTube. If you see a random person on the street, they will not know who you are. This is a bubble. So much is outside of that bubble. Just be a better person. I want you to be a better person. I want you to log off forever so we don't have to see you again. But for the sake of you and for the people you will meet in your future, be better. Because if you aren't going to be better, you are going to die alone. Because no one wants to be around someone who cannot grow up. And you haven't grown up. You're still in that middle school racism phase. Frankly, I never had that middle school racism phase, so I don't know how much anyone is affected by it. But frankly, you haven't grown out of it. You're not funny. You're not a comedian. You're just racist. You just hate minorities. You just hate people different from you. Stop. If you stop doing it, maybe your life will actually be good. Maybe people will actually look back at you with fondness. Because currently, fucking no one does. And no one ever will if you continue to be you. I'm tired of people like you. You are only one example. There's a lot of people all over the goddamn platforms that are just racist, haha funny, racism, the joke is fucking racist. But you're one of the biggest. And you're coming under fire. I am using you as a vessel to talk to everyone. I am talking to every single one of you people who are currently making content or wanting to make content. Be better. Delete the shit while people haven't seen it. Goodbye.